You don't remember how you came to be here, putting into this foul harbour where the dead cats bob upon the grey-capped waves amongst the oil drums and the excrement. You don't recall who booked your passage, stamped your passport, led you here to this dark country that's both hideously unfamiliar, hideously recognisable, just like a crash survivor's first glimpse of her new reflected face. You lick away the salt the fog has left there at the corners of your mouth. You grip the rail and hear the drunken, roaring ocean slap the ship around, two downstairs neighbours in a bedroom fight. You watch the coastline crawling nearer, and although you've seen that picture postcard view 1,000 times before, it's all so different somehow. Where are those serene, hand-tinted skies of perfect blue? Who took away those sun-bronzed towers and left a smoked necropolis? These buildings, this benighted landscape, this is not your home. It is instead as if someone had traced the shadow of America, has taken an impression and from that impression cast in concrete a vast continent of shadows, ruled by flashlight phantoms, spooks and silhouettes. The foghorn mourns. The black wolves are approaching. This is not a dream. Ashore, the quayside underfoot is sickeningly still. You watch men loading crates of shrimp with crosshairs on their black glass eyes. You try to visualise an ocean bed where such monstrosities might thrive, but fail. Cranes sweep above, unload containers leaking crystal snow upon the summer wharfs below. No, this is not America. It has a different trade base and economy, a different government. Above the lightless ant farm streets he stands, a human Rockwell painting, ribbons spilling from his breast as if his heart had burst, disgorging shredded foreign flags and silver coins. Towards the centre, mafia dons and P2 masons share a cotton candy under coloured lights, while exiled tyrants in their epaulettes lounge by the rifle range with SS generals. The shadow population sways. The distant bar lights shine, and you could use a drink, a glass of water. This is not a dream. Around the bar, streets ankle-deep in money have a freshly laundered smell. There's nothing smaller than $1 million bill, and newsboys in depression clothing sell you blank and empty papers. Nothing round here ever seems to make the news. Behind the frosted glass, the lights are dim. You place your palm against thumb-smeared brass and push and step within. Inside, the dust-bound tables serve as funeral biers, where dead chairs lie, their rigor-stiffened legs thrust in the air. There, at the bar, he sits alone. Framed on the walls through cataracts of grime, the images of honoured former patrons stare. There, at the bar, he sits alone and mutters to himself, voice parched and cancerous. The bottles glint invitingly. There, at the bar. Screw 'em all, those jerk-offs. They can't prove one goddamn thing. Sue 'em is what we do. Screw their faggot asses to the wall, Jack. Damn straight. Damn straight. Bitch wrote that goddamn report, and what's his name? The lawyer, Simon goddamn Pure. Sue 'em till they... Hey, we got a customer here. Come on, sit down. I'll get you a little drink. Hey, Charlie, get your brown buns over here and give me another, huh? That's one for my friend, too, okay? Okay, Charlie? It's good having somebody to talk to, I tell you. In my line of work, it gets lonely sometimes, you know. I guess I'm what you call a representative. I represent the company. What do we sell? This and that. But, to me, it ain't just shifting units, you know? I like to think I'm selling folks a dream. I mean, just 'cause we're competing in a tough international market don't mean we ain't got feelings.
Heck, I ain't ashamed to say it. I'm an idealist. That's good. Don't get much opportunity for cutting loose anymore. Married? Don't ask. She's my wife. See, I'm married to a Congress. I guess it's what you call a marital Congress, right? Shit. Excuse me. My wife, she holds the purse strings. See, I got her account for every cent. As for laying down the law, hell, she practically drafted a Bill of Rights. Sometimes we have these big public scenes. She asks me where I've been, who I'm seeing, but, well, she don't push that stuff too far. Neither of us wants to end the relationship. Bitch watches my every move. Still, there's ways and means. What she don't know ain't gonna hurt her. She should complain. It's me got ulcers. These do-gooders all the time poking into company records. Tell you for nothing. Time was we didn't get into these headaches. Everything was straightforward. Everybody minded their own business. Shit, I remember.
In World War II, we was the Office of Strategic Services, legitimate wartime enterprise.
Glory days, right? By 45, we had a perfect covert warfare operation. Seemed wasteful to shut it down just because we weren't at war anymore. Besides, maybe we'd fought the wrong guys.
1941, Harry Truman said we ought to help Hitler if Russia started winning,
And that we killed as many as possible. You see, business-wise, we recognized our real competitors. Reds. Communists. John Foster Dulles described two kind of people in the world.
those who are Christian and support free enterprise,
and the others. The others, our competitors. Come war's end, we laid into them all over.
Soon as the war ended, Marines and Japanese POWs fought for Chiang Kai-shek, our Chinese ally, against Mao's revolution.
We sent the Reds diseased insects. We turned Chiang's heavies into Chinese national guerrillas. 61 we quit. Moved our Chinats to Laos, a promising new marketplace. Chiang fled to Taiwan, establishing himself by massacring up to 20,000 people. Now, average body holds a gallon. Big swimming pools hold 20,000 gallons. So imagine a swimming pool filled with blood. Oh, General Chiang, way to go. You know, it's almost like those Chinese didn't want our man Chiang running things, but that's crazy. Why would anyone not want American guidance? For my money, it had to be the Russians brainwashing them. It's the only logical conclusion, right?
Hey, you think it's quiet in here?
I hate quiet. Quiet makes me jumpy.
Hey, Charlie! Yeah, you, who you think? Think that Sinatra song on the jukebox again, will ya? You know the one I mean.
Listen to that. What a voice. And that song just about says it all, don't it? Like the guy's whole life. I tell you, this song couldn't be about me. I always did things my own way, goddammit. Hell of a guy, Sinatra. Kind you can depend upon. See, in 47, after we became the CIA, Italy started sliding to our competitors, so we launched a promotional campaign. Italian Americans wrote home saying they'd stop sending money if their families voted communist. Voice of America did these radio spots to teach them Italians that voting communist was un-American. Sinatra did one, so did Gary Cooper. It was a regular high noon showdown. We won, naturally. Those next few years, we brought the Shah to power in Iran, tried overthrowing Syria's government. In South Korea, we backed Syngman Rhee, who executed without trial over 100,000 people as suspected communists. That's 5 swimming pools. Okay, so we play dirty sometimes. So what? The way I see it, all's fair in war and, what's it called? The other thing. Gosh, we didn't get down and dirty till 1959. See, over in Cuba, this friendly dictator named Fulgencio Batista had been running things, along with Santos Traficante, the mafia's man in Havana, Cuba's capital. Now, Batista ignored the drugs, gambling, and prostitution for a cut of the profits. Havana cigars. Best smoke in the world. Suddenly, 1959, this socialist, Fidel Castro and his buddy Che Guevara, they overthrew Batista in a so-called popular revolution. Under Castro, Trafficani and the mob had to leave Cuba. Say what you like, the mafia represent free enterprise which we, as a company, are sworn to protect. So, in late 1959, Vice President Richard Nixon met with Howard Hughes' man Robert Mayhew, who was discussing the Castro problem with mafia representatives. Excuse me a moment. Anyway, Nixon and the mafia okayed setting up this brigade of exiled Cubans, Trafficani's pals, to remove Castro. We trained them at two bases, one outside Miami, the other in Guatemala. Guatemala had been ours since 1954 when we protected the interests of the United Fruit Company by overthrowing the socialist government and suppressing the Banana Workers Union. Hey, you know, it turns out it was our Guatemalan activities turned a young, non-activist doctor into a revolutionary. Ernesto Che Guevara. Funny how things work out, ain't it? We trained exiles to terrorize Cuba's population, proving their government couldn't protect them. Those guys understood protection rackets. So we violated neutrality acts, federal statutes, and piddling state murder laws. Who gives a shit? Money came partly from my old lady, Congress, for foreign research, partly from mafia transactions. We laundered it through foreign banks, made it clean and untraceable. 1960, we expanded our plan, Operation 40, to include Castro's assassination. Trafficani's foot soldiers like Rafael Chichi Quintero and Raul Villaverde handled Operation 40. If discovered, we'd blame the mafia. One member, Louis Posada Carriles, 1976, he was arraigned for bombing an airliner. Snuffed 73 people, including a Cuban fencing team. Another guy, Felix Rodriguez, he eventually helped whack Che Guevara. Still wears Che's wristwatch as a memento. As I recall, old Felix, he's pretty close to George Bush. I mean, these are respectable guys, right? Then there was Frank Sturgis. Frank later got nabbed as one of the Watergate burglars, but he was a good man, Frank. Did his time and kept his mouth shut. Good man. Coordinating these guys was company man Howard Hunt. What a character. Used to like disguising himself all the time. Wrote some great spy novels. You like spy novels? Man, I love them. They're just like real life, you know? Only more believable. 61, switching tactics, we tried invading Cuba's Bay of Pigs. Why tolerate communism near America just because our allies Iran and Turkey share Soviet borders? Scared shitless over Russia's Cuban missiles, nobody noticed our Turkish ones. We also imposed embargoes. One British company, Leyland, broke the trade ban, shipping buses to Cuba. After consulting Brit intelligence, we had a Leyland transporter rammed and beached in the Thames. They got the message. The invasion failed. We resumed Operation Mongoose, our assassination program. A guy named Theodore Shackley, the blonde ghost. He ran things from a Miami base codenamed J.M. Wave. Under Shackley, Thomas Kleins. Then, poor Ed Wilson made a caught selling Libyans explosives. Good workers, Shackley and Kleins. Between 62 and 65, they planned 33 assassination attempts. Poison cigars for Castro, chemicals to make his beards fall out. I kind of like their style, you know. Problem was, the Cubans were brainwashed into thinking that they were happier under Castro than Batista. Then in 1963, Operation Mongoose personnel got caught shipping narcotics from Cuba to America. I guess old habits die hard. 65, we closed J.M. Wave, leaving the exiled Cubans to turn Miami into Little Havana and wait orders. Shackley and Kleins moved to Laos, where we'd positioned Chiang's Chinats after 1961. You see, We had plans for Laos. Pity about Cuba, though. You ask me, bad leadership's to blame. Company needs a sympathetic president it can work with. Now, back then, John F. Kennedy started out supporting us, and he welched on the deal. I mean, in 1961, when Cuba needed invading during the Bay of Pigs, he just kind of wimped out. Same thing in the Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962. Now, the Miami Cubans, the Mafia, they hated him for that. Plus, a lot of business people hated him because he looked like backing down on protecting their interests in Southeast Asia. Can't blame him. Guy was squishy soft on communism. Probably just as well his career got cut short when it did. Funny thing, after JFK died in Dallas, a lot of crackpots started claiming company involvement. They said a background bum in assassination photographs was Howard Hunt, disguised. They said Jack Ruby, who shot Kennedy's assassin before he could stand trial, had mafia connections. So he had mob connections. These days, who don't? People even said Richard Nixon, after losing 1960's election to Kennedy, was working as Pepsi-Cola's attorney in Dallas the day Kennedy died. Bullshit. Why, Dick flew out of Dallas hours before Kennedy got hit to Idlewild Airport. It's called Kennedy Airport now. Anyway, Nixon worked for Pepsi, goddammit. Ain't no better symbol of the American way than Pepsi. Ask anyone who was in Laos. Reaching Laos, 1965, Shackley and Kleins befriended Hmong tribesmen who, led by opium warlord Vang Pao, supported right-wing General Phuma in 1960's Civil War caused by American-influenced exclusion of socialists from the coalition government. Now, Chichi Quintero, Raul's brother Rafael Villaverde, and old Felix Rodriguez, they trained the Hmong in assassination. Felix, still wearing Che Guevara's wristwatch, liaised with Donald Gregg, now George Bush's national security advisor, and General Richard Secord. Secord was deputy air wing commander in Laos. His crew helped Vang Pao by firebombing competitors' airstrips and flying rice to the Hmong, freeing up their land to grow opium. Secord's planes flew opium to Vientiane, where a guy named Hu Tim Hang was supposed to be building a Pepsi-Cola bottling plant. Perfect cover for moving cash and buying chemicals to refine the opium into heroin. Selling it, we bought guns for secret assassination programs against the socialist Pathet Lao forces. Pepsi, best drinking at work. Excuse me. Having a monopoly, Vang Pao's opium poured out of Laos. 1968, Santos Traficante visited Vietnam. Pretty soon we got Vang Pao's heroin flowing into America from Traficante's Miami base. I tell you, arranging these things is a piece of cake. You just gotta have the right connections. Some profits we stashed in Australia's Nguyen Han Bank, set up in 1973 by Michael Han, who worked for Shackley in Laos. Next few years, that bank did well. Only thing it didn't do was banking. Laundered a lot of money down there. A lot of money. It's like poor Ed Wilson's business partner, Frank Turpin, said after Ed got busted selling explosives to Gaddafi. Miami is the drug syndicate. That's the base. Shackley, Kleins, the Villaverde brothers, Chichi, Rodriguez are there. The guy behind the scandal, Kleins. Who's the boss of Kleins? Shackley. Where do they come from? Laos. Where did the money come from? Nuke in hand. Kleins was running drugs. The pilot of the plane in Asia was Dick Secord. What was on the plane? Gold. 10 million bucks at a time in gold. He was going to the Golden Triangle to pay off the warlords, the drug lords. Now, what do you do with all that opium? You reinvested in your own operations. Billions of dollars, not millions. Billions of dollars. Most people can't comprehend $1 billion. Hot lunch for every kid in New York for a year. That's $1 billion. Although, why waste good heroin money? All that smack we moved using the Pepsi factory in Laos, All those GIs and junkies all over the world who got their habit from us. They're in the Pepsi generation. Shit. Of course, later, we decided that things went better with Coke. Between 1966 and 68, John Singlaub, head of U.S. Military Assistance Command, he helped Shackley and Klein's in Laos. Now, Singlaub heads the U.S. branch of the World Anti-Communist League now. WACL does a lot of good work in places like Taiwan, Guatemala. Of course, it was embarrassing when the European representatives turned out to be ex-SS officers, but hey, those Nazis sure were kick-ass anti-communists. Me, I'll work with Nazis, Israelis, anybody. Let bygones be bygones, right? 1968, that operation was aided by young Oliver North, radio call sign Blue. Called his platoon Blues Bastards. Ollie, he liked neat code names. Enthusiastic, listen, he was an altar boy till high school senior year. Between operations, Ollie taught Marine classes. He once jumped on a desk with a loaded gun which fired accidentally, spraying his class. Blanks, luckily. 1971, Ollie protested press coverage of Lieutenant William Calley's My Lai massacre, saying he'd never witnessed no atrocities. Ollie, I could use. Of course, sometimes he'd get overexcited. Once needed psychiatric treatment after roaming Virginia's suburbs naked except for his gun. But, that aside, Ollie was like the kid next door. Shackley, Klein, Singlaub, North, Secord. What a team. Plus, we had a leader we could work with. Winning 1968's election, Richard Nixon became America's 37th president. Maybe Kennedy could have beaten him like in 1960. But Kennedy was dead. We had a field day under Nixon. 1969, Shackley and Klein's moved to Saigon, directed Operation Phoenix, assassinating Vietnamese civilians suspected of collaborating with National Liberation Front commies. Teachers, clerks, educated people, dangerous types. By 1971, company director Bill Colby said Operation Phoenix killed 20,587, which is only like one swimming pool. On a bright side, the American-backed South Vietnamese government said Phoenix killed 41,000. Two pools. It's more like it, huh? 1971, Phoenix got exposed. Congress, my old lady, she started squawking that it's illegal and that I ain't gotta do it anymore. Our boys kept up that damned operation till 1975. That ought to show her who's boss. Meanwhile, 1972, Shackley handled difficulties in Chile. Another socialist, Allende, another goddamn popular election. Nixon's Secretary of State Kissinger, he said, I don't see why we need to stand by and watch a country go communist because of the irresponsibility of its own people. My feelings exactly. Nixon and Kissinger indicated Allende's assassination would not be unwelcome, so Shackley organized Operation Track 2. 1973, Allende was offed. Military coup toppled his government. Gerald Ford, president after Nixon's Watergate disaster, said that our Chilean operations were in the best interest of the people of Chile and certainly in our own best interests. You can say that again. Watergate, though. What happened? 1972, Howard Hunt and Miami Cubans, including Frank Sturgis, they got caught burgling Democratic Party headquarters, tampering with presidential elections. While only a putsy burglary, investigations into it started revealing illegal donations from World Anti-Communist League countries like Taiwan, anxious to prolong the Vietnam War into Nixon's re-election campaign. Nixon sort of had the situation explained and sort of resigned. Ford pardoned him and investigations ended there. Phew. Close call, huh? After Nixon, things deteriorated. Vietnam War ended 1973. Theo Shackley heading our East Asia Division, he somehow lost thousands of tons of American weapons, eventually stashed in Thailand in case we needed guns fast, no questions asked. Pulling out of Laos, Shackley and arrest departed for Iran and thereabouts. Drug profits safe with Nuke in hand. It's a pity about Laos. Sweet little country. And I've had a lot of countries. Me, I'm a country hound. I like 'em hot and wet. I tell you, I gave Laos a screwing she'll never forget, and I left her laying there sniveling. We dropped 2 million tons of bombs, more than on Germany and Japan together during World War II. Hundreds of thousands dead. Say, 11 swimming pools. I still remember the message those scallywags at U.S. Air Force Radio signed off with before closing down and leaving Laos. Goodbye! See you next war! That Nugan Bank, though. 13 branches in WACL countries like the Philippines, paid our heroin bills, laundered our profits, shielded tax dodges, monitored Asian troop movements. There ain't many banks provide service like that. 1975, it helped destroy Gough Whitlam's Australian Labour government, snarling his ministers in scandals involving Commerce International, a company tied to Ed Wilson. Now later, some guy confessed to rigging anti-Whitlam evidence for Ed, funded by Michael Ham. Whitlam yells, CIA plot. Complicated matter, some Australian space study place got exposed as a CIA bugging facility. Rattled, Shackley sent threats to Australian intelligence. Days later, an unprecedented constitutional maneuver deposed Whitlam. It's a spooky coincidence, huh? Same year, a company associate arranged a Nugan-Hand Iran money pipeline funding our Iranian rackets. 1977, bank opened Thai offices handling nothing but drug money, adjoining U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration offices. They even shared receptionists. 1979, Klein's met Bernie Houghton, drug runner, swindler, Michael Hand's advisor. 1980, Hand's partner, Francis Nugan, he killed himself. Bank collapsed amidst investigations and shredded documents. Clients helped Houghton reach the Philippines, safe WAC country under President Marcos. At least the way it was. I still can't understand Nugan's suicide. I mean, after helping run out guns and heroin, the guy had so much to be proud of. Why do you want to kill himself? Some nights I think about that. Can't understand it. Now, 1975, after Laos, Dixie Cord moved to Iran, employed by a U.S. Pentagon agency to authorize sales of U.S. arms to the Shah, while Shackley and Klein's directed Iranian and Libyan operations through Ed Wilson. In Iran since 1976, doing company business under the cover of naval intelligence work. Ed advised SAVAK, the Shah's secret police, on high-tech surveillance of the Shah's enemies. SAVAK, realizing Wilson was connected to Shackley, they pestered him for more equipment, which we gladly arranged through Secord and Eric von Marbod. Now, mostly SAVAK handled assassinations like those 9 handcuffed dissidents that they hold, with Shackley keeping an eye on things. Meanwhile, Iranian-born Albert Hakian wanted in on the arms deal action. Now, we connected him to Secord to arrange contracts, like supplying Rockwell International's IBEX project, aiding the Shah. 1976, 3 IBEX managers were murdered, reportedly to conceal embezzlement involving Shackley's cronies. Next day, Frank Turpel, arriving in Libya from Iran, announces that the Rockwell matter has been dealt with. Turpel, he's a Libya-connected businessman. He met Ed Wilson in 1975. Together they were selling Libya bomb fuses, plus providing instructors. You see, we suspected Libya of training Iranian dissidents. While supplying them, we'd keep an eye on things. Wilson says he monitored foreign dissidents passing through Libya, handing names, airlines, and flight numbers to Shackley, who'd arrange assassinations by contacting the relevant foreign governments. All those unsuspecting revolutionaries in airport lounges, slaughterhouse processions with music. Yeah, since Watergate, Congress had had me pussy-whipped. But if Nixon's VP Ford got re-elected in 1976, Shackley had become CIA director, allowing me to sidestep regulations. If Carter won, Shackley's gang made contingency plans for untraceable private companies handling foreign operations. Naturally, Carter's selected, makes Stansfield Turner CIA director, starts retiring operatives with shady past. Shit, that Georgia cracker, he fired 800 guys. How am I supposed to run a goddamn war 800 men down? Bad, President Carter. Another freaking Kennedy. Luckily, we'd already established international research and trade, incorporating lots of other CIA companies. We just re-employed the spooks we wanted in a private capacity. Some subsidiaries had problems, like Eatsco. Transport Corporation established to ship American weapons to Egypt. Justice Department discovered we'd overcharged the U.S. government by $8 million. Made us repay $2 million plus $100,000 fine. That's what a cool $5 million profit plus change. Still, caused embarrassment. Secord was suspended pending polygraph tests, which eventually never happened. Former CIA Deputy Director Frank Carlucci reinstated him, and Dick retired with full pension to work for us through companies shared with Albert Hakim. You see, nothing could hurt us. We've become a corporation, and under business law, corporations are defined as immortal beings. We're immortal! We never die! We just start to smell funny after a while is all. Anyway, since 1953, we'd paid Iran's Ayatollahs to leave the Shah alone. But that asshole Carter, he stops the payments. Why do you know? Shah's deposed 1979 by Khomeini, who immediately hijacks a bunch of Americans. Carter's attempted helicopter rescue fails. Don't know how, with Ollie North helping. Carter had to rescue those hostages somehow, election approaching, so he planned trading American weapon parts that Iran needed for an October release, winning him the election, an October surprise. We had other ideas, like Reagan as president, ex-company man Bush as VP. A dream ticket. Us? Well, it's like SAVAK official Mansour Rafizadeh said, the CIA, consistently hostile to Carter, told Khomeini not to bother giving Carter any credit. Thus, the CIA sentenced the American hostages to 76 days more imprisonment. Financing Reagan's elections, like Nixon's, John Singlaub promised WACL countries demanding a renewed CIA presence that help was coming in the form of Ronald Reagan. Guatemala alone contributed millions through Reagan campaign manager Michael Diva, coincidentally Guatemala's foreign lobbyist. Brought themselves a damn good president who'd repay their favors. Why, he even invited Guatemalan Death Squad Commander Sandoval to his inaugural ball, plus Lucio Guerra, head of the fascist P2 Masons. Party animals, huh? Did great under Reagan until 1985, when pro-Iranian Hezbollah fundamentalists kidnapped company man William Buckley in Beirut, torturing revelations about our earlier Iranian assassinations out of him. Damaging revelations. We was really in the shit, you know what I mean? Had to ransom Buckley. Appointed by Reagan, North picked Secord to try shipping U.S. arms to Iran from Israel. Meanwhile, Reagan called Iran a new version of Murder Incorporated. We preferred the old version, saying America wouldn't make concessions to terrorists. Ship arms? Sure. Make concessions? No. By August 1985, we'd started shipping missiles through Israel to Iran. They released a hostage, but not Buckley. He died already, under torture. Didn't matter. Having videotaped Buckley's confession, Iran had us over a barrel. They kept Buckley's revelation secret. We kept selling them arms, netting $30 million. Ollie North's family got a $200,000 trust fund. Hakim, Kleins, and Secord, they pocketed $285,000 each. Hey, they'd earned it. Other profits funded our Nicaraguan enterprises. Now, to legitimize relationships by recruiting Iran into fighting communism, North and Robert McFarlane delivered presents, chocolate cake, and missiles. What a mess. Iran protested too few missiles. We skipped a $4,000 hotel bill, and airport guards ate our friggin' cake. Worse, 1986, Iranian students publicized McFarlane's visit while we denied its existence. When the White House admitted that Iranian arms profits were funding our Nicaraguan Contras, the poop really hit the propeller. Guess we've been caught in a contradiction. Nicaragua. 1933, we'd established dictator Anastasio Somoza there, but by 1976, his regime looked kind of shaky. Shackley and Klein's offered Somoza assistance for assassination programs like they'd provided for Iran's Shah in 1979 after goddamn Carter had refused him aid. Same year, Somoza's overthrown, just like the Shah. Sandinista government takes over. It's funny. Our assassination programs always look great on paper, but then I don't know. You get these goddamn uprisings. Maybe we're just not assassinating enough people. Anyway, we helped Somoza transform his old National Guard, now in Honduras, into the Nicaraguan Democratic Front, also known as our FDN Contras. Fronted by political representative Adolfo Calero, they raided Nicaragua from the north, destabilizing its new government. Them Contras, they entered villages and assembled the residents, killing some in front of the others, cutting off guys' nuts and chicks' tits, slitting throats and pulling tongues out through the slits. What a bunch of freedom fighters. Meanwhile, opening a southern front, dissatisfied former Sandinista Eden Pastora, alias Comandante Zero, he formed the Anti-Sandinista Democratic Revolutionary Alliance, our ARDE Contras. Unfortunately, Pastora had hated our ex-Somoza FDN Contras since they killed his father. Later, that caused problems. Pastora's Contras received arms through a simple Costa Rican farmer, John Hull. Good company man, Hull. A lot of experience fighting the evil empire. Sort of like Yoda in Star Wars, except for the coke smuggling. Hull, that is. Not Yoda. We already had a lot of Central American WACL contacts. Following Reagan's election, Salvadoran Death Squad leader Roberto Dobison, he entered America illegally, meeting representatives of Reagan and Jesse Helms. 1976, WACL supporter Helms had visited Argentina just before its military coup. 1981, meeting with right-wingers who didn't like how America was run and wanted to do something, Singlao formed the U.S. Council for World Freedom, American branch of the WACL, secretly aiding our Nicaraguan Contras. Lyndon LaRouche employee Mike Verbel, he hosted that meeting. He suggested that Singlao spearhead a military coup, taking over America for LaRouche. Singlao declined. Making America a military junta. What a crazy idea. Anyway, our WACL ally Argentina had helped the country until 1982 when it got in the goddamn stupid Falklands War. Suddenly, Reagan's anti-communist Tutsi Maggie Thatcher is asking him for help against Argentina, who are training Reagan's Contras. Goddamn no-win situation, right? We offended Argentina, but places like Israel still trained our Contras. Everybody was in on the act. Even Felix Rodriguez planned Nicaraguan missions with North, McFarlane, and Donald Gregg. It's like the gang's all here, you know? 1983, we made the Pentagon give the Contras $8 million in military surplus, avoiding congressional limits on CIA spending. This operation, codenamed Elephant Herd, trampled that interfering bitch Congress underfoot, then trumpeted off to Nicaragua. Same year, Alabama grocer Tom Posey founded his Civilian Military Assistance, privately helping the Contras and sending John Hull mercenaries through a Miami Howard Johnson's motel. Manager even gave him a special guerrilla rate. Miami's Cubans helped too. Rene Corvo's operation with Felipe Vidal, Dagoberto Nunez, and Paco Chanes assisted ARDE Contras through John Hull. Later, Cuban backers visiting Costa Rica monitoring donations, they returned disillusioned, reporting drug running. Tell you, these days, this stuff's what keeps me going. Sweet operation we ran out of Hull's farm, just like the old opium days in Laos. Colombian drug barons delivered coke there, while guys like Jorge Morales flew American arms in and cocaine back. Get it? Coked out yuppies fund our Contras. No wonder it's called marching powder. Here, you want it too? Go on, I got plenty. Huh? You sure? Suit your goddamn self. Morales shipped coke into Florida. Nobody checked the planes. Company orders. Told Morales that if he worked for us, George Bush would keep him out of prison. Of course, Bush didn't. Tough titty, Jorge. This line's for you, buddy. All right. I tell you, Nunez and Shawnee's shrimp companies, they ran coke. Felix Rodriguez, he got the Medellin drug cartel to donate millions. Biggest operation in decades, and nobody could figure out how we supplied our Contras. Hey, let me tell you a secret. It's all done with mirrors. You know, we even produced a goddamn comic book telling Nicaraguans how to topple their government by leaving faucets running and phoning in sick to work. Guess it was like Captain Contra says, block a toilet for democracy. It's a great idea. 1983, Congress cuts Contra aid. Retaliating, we mine Nicaragua's harbors. Senator Barry Goldwater, he wrote, I'm pissed off. This is an act violating international law. I don't see how we're going to explain it. We didn't have to. When the World Court demanded we compensate Nicaragua, Reagan just refused. What a president. Another sore point was a manual we gave to the Contras telling them how to assassinate civilians. Kind of terrorist Dick and Jane, I guess. 1984 problems arose. Eden Pastor, opposing unity between FDN and ARDE Contras, he announced a press conference denouncing CIA pressure. Assassin Amac Galil was flown to Costa Rica to turn Pastor into commander less than zero. The conference was at La Penca. Accompanying journalist was photographer Per Anker Hansen and his camera case. Funny, he didn't look Danish. Pastor started talking. Hansen put down his camera case, took a walk outside. Boom! Pastor survived. 5 journalists dead. Listen, over the years, a lot of Central Americans got killed. El Salvador, 70,000. Guatemala, 60,000. Nicaragua, Christ knows. Must be nearly 8 pools all told. 5 journalists? Shit. That's hardly a puddle. Following La Penca, Hull, Calero, and Posey discussed trying again. Like Project Pegasus, supposedly prefacing an American invasion. It never happened. Next plan was to kill U.S. Ambassador Louis Tams and blame the Sandinistas. Another non-starter. Worse, one Contra, worried about killing Tams, he asks a stranger's help. Unfortunately, this stranger's wife knows Martha, Honey's secretary. Honey's husband got hurt at La Penca. She's itching for leads. Somebody up there must really hate me, you know? We recaptured this Contra and his contact, but they escaped again. Kicked a guard in the balls. Can you believe that shit? Next, Honey's husband takes their story to this Christic Institute. Pissant legal operation. Been hassling us ever since. Pretty soon we got problems all over. Congressional investigations, criminal indictments, all kinds of headaches. Robert McFarlane even tried killing himself, just like old Frankie Nugent. I mean, what is it with these guys? What worries me is where we put all the mercenaries we've trained in drug smuggling and terrorism if we lose, God forbid, Nicaragua. In America, I guess, Contras could do for California what Cubans did for Miami. How does San Diego Vice sound? Of course, there's always new wars. 1986, our son of a bitch in the Philippines, President Marcos, he got deposed. Singlao visits. Next thing, right-wing guerrilla attacks increase. Reagan sends more CIA. It's where you came in, right? Yeah, it's business as usual. Always has been, always will be. You wait till the elections. I tell you, you ain't seen nothing yet. Congress can't stop me. Krista can't stop me neither. You think they can? You think I'm worried about one little crummy asswipe legal outfit? Is that what you think? Because if that's what you think, buddy, then in my book that makes you a goddamn communist, capiche? Oh, shit heels, they can't touch me. I'm safe, okay? I'm totally safe. I mean, who's gonna believe a ridiculous yarn like they're telling? It's like this whole story I just told you. Forget it. Didn't happen. It was a joke, okay? As for what really happened, well, earlier you asked what I was selling, right? Okay. It's like this. We never assassinated anybody, never smuggled drugs, laundered money, or conspired with criminals and dictators. What really happened? America protected the world. The CIA protected America. Shackley, Klein's, and arrest protected the CIA, and that is why they are goddamn heroes. That's it. That's what I'm selling. You buy that, don't you? Come on. I got the goods right here. Why don't you take a closer look at what you're getting while I tell you what kind of price we're looking at? See, we ain't after your money. You're a taxpayer. We already got it. We don't even want you to do anything. In fact, just the opposite. Come on, take a look.
It opens like a hemorrhaging clam, the merchandise within revealed. Melee, the massacre North didn't see, the baby crawling, a soldier squinting, sighting. He fired at it with a 45. He missed. We all laughed. He got up 3 or 4 feet closer and missed again. We laughed. And he got right on top and plugged it.
All we're asking is your indifference. Just turn away, pretend it ain't happening. Ain't like you gotta give up part of yourself. No important part, anyway. Come on. Look closer.
The Nicaraguan farmer, interviewed in 1985, shot by the Contras with his son who died there in his arms. Recovering consciousness, he found that pigs were eating his child's brains. Rosa had her breasts cut off. Then they cut into her chest and took out her heart. How much blood can there be? How many pools?
Well, come on, what do you say? Can we do business? Listen, I ain't got all day. Are you buying or... Hey, what's the matter? Where are you going? Ah, come on. Look, you didn't even finish your drink. Why don't you stick around? You and me, huh? We're pals, ain't we? Sure we are. We're birds of a feather.
Outside, down boulevards of murderers you run. Your breath that scalds your throat, your feet like madmen's fists upon the sidewalk pounding, desperate to get out. Oh, to be gone from here. Oh, to be in a place where things are sometimes done in kindness. Not far to your ship now, waiting there to take you home with reassuring lights, with decks where party music plays into the night and people kiss against the rail. Not far, the wharf comes into sight. The shadows play. The harbour lanterns tremble.
is not.